Hello. Am I audible? So, good evening, everyone. I'm Sanjana from Mozilla Punjab, and finally, the Hacktoberfest is here. I welcome all of you on behalf of the organizers of Hacktoberfest. So, okay. Okay. I just wanted to say that if you guys haven't registered for Autumn Hacks yet, so please do register. You can check the registration link on our Twitter handle @Autumn Hacks, and yes, you can register over there. So, without any further delay, let's get started. Let me give you a little introduction about Hacktoberfest, what Hacktoberfest is all about. So it is a month-long celebration of open source software. Like if you want to contribute to the open source projects, then this is a great opportunity for you guys. Whether you are developers or just a student which is learning to code, you can make contributions to open source projects. And Hacktoberfest is brought to you by DigitalOcean in partnership with Dev and Intel. Yeah, for earning the Hacktoberfest reward, you have to make 4 valid pull requests. And this event is organized by 6 communities, which is Mozilla Punjab, DSC NIT Rourkela, Codzilla, Moz NUV, Hack Club NUV, and Seconset. Yes, that is the thing. Uh, I know I used a term open source earlier, so I hope that this session would be interactive for you all. And if you guys don't know about open source, then it's okay. Like for those who doesn't know, I'll tell like a little bit about open source. Like open source projects or software means you can see the code and you can modify it by using pull requests, and then you can use it for your own purpose. And I think this is the brief and simplest definition I can say for open source. But of course, we are going to tell you about these things in detail. So, without further delay, now let me introduce you to our speaker, Vishal Das. He is the lead organizer of Mozilla Punjab, and he's also an Mozilla rep. And uh, he will tell you about open source and GitHub and how to create a pull request. So, now he'll take it from you, or take it from here. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjana, for the brief introduction about Hacktoberfest, the communities, Autumn Hacks, and me. I would like to first of all thank everybody who has organized this and put this together. Thanks a lot. And also introduce my co-speaker, who is Harish. And me and Harish, we both are campus experts. And we have been into Git and we have been trying to figure out how this works. We think that we can do much better, but we'll try to figure out how we can help you out and help you make your first contributions to Hacktoberfest. Also, this time Hacktoberfest had a rough start. If you have been following, the Hacktoberfest had a lot of spam pull requests, which means that the maintainers had a lot of spam to deal with. It's a request to all the contributors that you don't submit spam pull request and only make quality contributions to the project itself. And with that, we are ready to go ahead. Harish, it's over you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Vishal. Thank you, Sanjana, for the awesome introduction about open source and Hacktoberfest. And also, I'm really glad that they are having me as a speaker. Okay. I hope you are also excited as me to get started with this session. I'll try to make it as much interactive as possible. So if you have any doubts, you can always drop it in the comments. Vishal will be keeping tabs on the comments. So if you have anything like you have doubts, you can drop it over there. We will be taking care of all the questions at the end. So, okay, anyway, I'll be introducing myself again. Okay, I'm Harish. I'm the GitHub Campus Expert and the DSC lead of DSC NIT Rourkela. So, yeah, let's get started. So, we are going to be talking about the introduction to Git and GitHub. Hope you find this session useful and get something at the end of it. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, the disclaimer is I'm not neither a Git nor a GitHub expert. I'm nowhere related to Git. Like I'm not a GitHub employee. I don't work for Git. They don't pay me. So it's not like that. These are some of the misconceptions that people might have. GitHub Campus Experts program is an amazing opportunity to help grow your local community. It just focuses on helping and building your community. Like GitHub provides you resources to do that. So that is all this is about. And yeah, so before we start, I hope you have all have Git installed and a GitHub account, your favorite editor, because we'll be doing some coding later. So yeah, um, even if you don't have one, you can quickly go and get it all done. So yeah, so this is how the flow is gonna be. Hmm. First, we'll be talking about the Git, like what exactly is Git and GitHub, and then some Git fundamentals 101, just enough so that you can get started with Git right away. And we'll be exploring more things on GitHub. Like GitHub is has a plethora of things available over here, so definitely we'll be doing that. And also some open sourcing, like how exactly you could contribute. What are some other ways, like not only coding, there are some other ways also you could contribute to open source. We'll be talking about that as well. Yep. So yeah, my first repo. What exactly is Git and GitHub? Yeah, let's get started. Hey. Hmm. So yeah, Git can mean anything actually. It's sometimes called a stupid content tracker or a global information tracker. Like if you're in a really good mood, like this is actually the message which Linus Torvalds, the creator of Git, has put up in Wikipedia. So yeah, if it works, we call it good. If it doesn't work, it's just a goddamn truckload of shit. So yeah, but this is not actually what Git is. Git is a distributed version control system. It is one of the version control system, which is majorly used by everyone these days. So any project which uses Git will have a .git folder. So that is basically it would contain all the metadata which would be needed for the Git to store all your history and all your commits and all. We'll be talking about this later. Okay. Yeah. So what can it do? Like what Git can do? So what it can do is it can store your history. Remember the times where you used to do Control Z every time, like whenever something messes up, and once you close the window, you can't do that anymore. And we'll be saving all the files name with final.txt, final2, final3, definitely final yo. So Git basically avoids everything so that your code and your software is properly managed and documented, so that you don't need to worry about anything. You just focus on the coding. So yeah, it can provide you history. So it tracks exactly what file you change and what those changes are, and also it gives you backup. So even if you end up messing up, so you can always go back in time. It's like a time machine. So if you end up mess up something, you can always go back and check up that code and get started with like get going with that. So you don't need to worry about making changes and your code being messed up. And also collaboration, one of the important things, because you can definitely a big project. If you're working on a big project, you wouldn't be working alone. You would be with a team. So everyone needs to contribute. And so the Jugaad way of doing that is basically to mail your friends with the code, but that doesn't work over here. There is a better way to do it. We will be doing that with GitHub. So these are all the things which Git and GitHub can do. It's super powerful. I'm pretty sure once you start using it, you'll love it. So yeah, what is GitHub exactly? So Git is a software. Often people confuse with Git and GitHub. Git is a version control software, and GitHub is a website which lets you host your projects. So yeah, GitHub is a website which uses where you can create projects, like the collaboration. That's when the GitHub comes in. So all the code you write, that would be on your local system. So if you want to share it to someone else, or if you want people to contribute to your project or something, you can always put over there. It's like Facebook for developers. You can think of it that way. And we'll be talking about some key terminologies of GitHub. So one of the thing is repository. A repository is basically a project folder. Like that would be the project folder where you'll be working on. In GitHub terms, it's called repository. Yeah. So yeah, that is exactly. It's basically a container that houses your project, so that Git knows that this is my scope and all changes that we do needs to be tracked. So and every changes would be tracked on the git folder, as I mentioned earlier. Yeah. Yeah, so let's get started. I know like this might be a lot to take in, but once you're good with the commands and you see it for yourself, you can definitely have a better understanding by doing. So yeah, anybody who wants to follow along, who have the Git bash already installed, they can definitely follow along. So the first thing to do is to tell Git who you are. So since you will be making some changes, so Git needs to know who did those exact changes. So for that, you will be configuring your name, your email, so that Git knows that these are the changes done by you and not somebody else. So to do that, these are the commands as you can see on the screen. Git config --- global user.name. You put your name there and then you put your email there, so that it knows that okay, this is the person who has done these changes. And next, as we said, the first step is always to initialize a repository. So whenever we want to start working on a project, we create the project directory by creating a folder, and then we do git init. So that is the first command to initialize that project as a repository. So that you tell Git, okay, this is my project folder. I want you to track all changes within this folder, right? Awesome. So commits. So as I told, commits are basically snapshots. By snapshot, what exactly I mean is, say for example, you initialized a folder and you do some changes, right? So you do some changes and you need Git to remember this, okay? So that's how the action of asking Git to remember the snapshot is called a commit. We call it the commit. So you do some changes, you commit, so that Git knows that okay, this is the commit. I need to remember this. So whenever you want to go back in time and check that, you can always go back and do that. So that is what a commit is. So let us see how to create our first commit. So these are some basic commands. Git status lets you, like once you start making changes and then you type git status, it will show you all the changes which you have done in the working directory. And the next command is called adding files to the staging area. So what it does is it basically adds files to your staging area, so that you let the Git know that okay, these are my files. I've done some changes in it. I want you to track it. So once you've done that, you can commit it. Okay, these are my changes, just remember that. So that's a snapshot. So Git will remember it. You can always go back to it. Okay, here I'll be explaining everything in detail. So this is how the flow is. So as you can see, there are stages. The first stage is untracked, staged, committed, and modified. So, okay. So the first initially will start off with the untracked, like Git doesn't know anything. You are creating your own files. So you put there, it is in the untracked state. And once you add it to the staging area, like you add the files to the staging area to tell Git, okay, these are my changes, I want you to remember it. Okay. So once it's in the staging area, it means that it is ready to commit. Okay. So like you can move, as you can see in the presentation, that after the staging has been done, you can always go to the commit. So once it's committed, okay, that Git remembers it. It takes a snapshot of it, as I said. So yeah, so you don't need to worry about anything. You can always go back and check that commit. And obviously, after committing, we don't stop with that. We start working on something else. So once you start working on after committing, again, it goes to the modified stage. So it just comes back to the staged area, so that it knows that these are the files I need to track, but it has some new changes. So those are not committed. So this is basically a cycle. Like you do something, you tell Git to track it, and then you commit it, and then again you start to do something. So this goes on like a loop. Yeah. So basically, we are okay. If you see, as you have been working on the project, you can basically you will be basically having this list of logs, like the snapshots which you have been making. Like as you can see in the presentation, first you would have done something like add fruits, add apples, add oranges, add grapes. So all these are snapshots which Git has captured in the timeline. So as I told, it's like a time machine, right? So these are basically checkpoints which Git remembers, so you can always go back to that. So the Git maintains its own log where it will have all the list of commits which have been made. So git log is the command to see all the commits. You can always go back and refer them. Yeah. So next thing is resetting your commits. So sometimes after making a commit, you do some changes and you want to go back to the previous commit. Like you haven't committed yet, but you have some changes in the staging area. you want to go back to the, so how do you do that? So these are the commands for that. So git reset head, and these are some of the options which are available, like hard, soft, and mixed. So hard, what hard does it? It basically assume, let's take an example. See, let's assume that you have done some commit and you are making some changes. Okay, so once you type git reset, like you hard reset it, all the changes which you have done would be erased, like it would be completely gone, even in your project directory you wouldn't be able to find it. But if you don't want your changes to be lost, you can always go for soft. What soft does is, it gets back to the staging area. It doesn't do anything with your file, it doesn't change any code, it always reverts back to the staging area. And mixed keeps in the directory. Okay, so basically, as I can see, I can go back to this stage. Yeah, so hard reset completely deletes it. Soft lets it stay on the staging area, and mixed, it doesn't even let it stay on the staging area. So you need to stage it back then if you want the changes to be tracked. So this is how it is. Okay, so Git is good. So yeah, let's get on some fundamentals to get started with. Yeah. So yeah, okay. What is, first of all, what is okay, as I've already mentioned repositories, now we are hearing a new term called what is a remote repository. So repository is something which you have on your local computer. That is your project folder. Okay. So when you want people to collaborate in, you will be pushing that to the GitHub. So that is when it's called a remote repository. So the one which exists on your PC, that's called the local repository, and one which exists, one which is there on GitHub, it's called the remote repository. So whenever you want to see the code of other people, like some existing remote repository online, you do clone. So basically you just do this command git clone and the repository URL. So this will get fetch all the data, I mean all the project code from the GitHub to your local computer, so that you can start making changes. And yeah, these are also other commands, like pull basically pulls your code from the GitHub, like if there is any change updated on the repo after your clone. And push is basically a command which lets you push code from local computer to the GitHub. So yeah, pull, push, that's how it works. Let's talk about branches. Okay. Again, this is something where people get confused. Like branches, you can think of it like parallel timelines. Like for example, you're not really sure about what you're doing, but you want to do it anyway. So what do? You create a new branch. Like usually, how this works is you will be working on something called as a master branch, and if you want to do some edits, you move on to a different branch so that your master branch, which is the stable workflow, it doesn't break. And also if you and your friends are working, you want to work on a feature like simultaneously together, like he wants to work on feature 1 and you want to work on feature 2, you can't obviously be on the same branch. So that's where you branch out and you guys work on your individual branches, and then you can always go back and at the end, once everything is working fine, you can merge the two branches to the stable release. So these are the commands to do them. Git branch basically lists all the branches, and git branch my branch would create a new branch, and git checkout would go into that branch. And once you're all done with the commits in that branch, you can type git merge to merge a different branch to the stable branch, right? Okay, so yeah, I hope like we've been seeing a lot of things, but we didn't really do anything. So yeah, so this is an activity which we have planned for. It's really going to be interesting, like for people who hasn't made their first pull request or doesn't even know how to use GitHub. So this is a very basic activity. I'll tell you exactly what we'll be doing. So basically, we'll be doing some change. There is a repository. Let me show you that. Um, yeah. So as you can see, this is our website. This Gitinit is a basic project built by Vishal and Maxi. Like he made the original version of it. So this activity, what you will be doing it is you will be submitting a pull request to our repo, At the end, you will be able to see your profile card over here. As you can see, all the people who have submitted their pull request, their cards are visible here. Everything is automated. You just need to submit your pull request and boom, you will see your profile card here. So without any further ado, let's just get started. So I'll even actually this is something which we'll be doing alongside. So if you want to follow along, you can always do that. So the first step is to go to the everything actually is mentioned in the instructions tab, but still anyway I'll be doing for you guys again. So first click on this GitHub repository link. I think it will be good if I share my entire. Yeah, great. Okay. Yeah. So now you can see this is the repository. So the first step is to fork it. So this is the original repository. But you don't want to, nobody wants to edit their code right away. So what you do is you fork it. Forking basically creates your own copy of the repo into your account, so that whatever changes you do, you will be doing it on the forked version, not on the original version, right? So I hope everybody has forked it. So this is where we're working on. As you can see here, this is my repo. Like I forked it from Vishal's. So Vishal's Gitinit, it says that Harish Gitinit forked from Vishal Gitinit, right? So after forking, the next step is to create a new branch. Okay, because as I mentioned, you don't want to mess up the stable branch, like which is the master. You want to move into a new branch. Let me name that as say okay. To create a new branch, actually this activity, the same activity, you can do it in Git as well. But to keep things simple, we will be doing everything on GitHub. You don't need to do anything. Like if you can always follow along. But for some beginners who would have trouble installing Git and doing it all locally, you could always do it here inside GitHub itself. So to create a new branch, you type the branch name and click enter. So I'll be creating new branch. New branch. That's what I name my branch. So you just click this button to create a new branch. So yeah, I'm in the new branch. So any changes I do in this branch is not affected, would not be affected by the ones like in the master branch, basically. That is why we do. So we go into the src folder and we go into the profile section where all the cards are over here. So this is where we'll be adding our cards, so that at the end of it, it would be visible on the website over there. So simply click create a new file. So if you actually, you could copy a template over here, like click on any of the existing md files and copy this markdown, because we'll be needing the same markdown, as we don't want to mess up the parser. So yeah, once you copy the markdown, enter your name or something, like I'll be entering MD. So and paste that markdown over here, so that you have the template. In username, you can give your GitHub username. Like I'll be giving my GitHub username Harishtin and your full name. So yeah, that is all you need to do. So once you've edited this file, scroll down to the bottom, and with every commit you need to give it a message, so that it makes sense to you, like what changes are included in that commit. I'll put add my profile card. Yeah. To be more specific, it's really important that you write good commit messages, or else it will be a mess at the end of it when you try to go back. So I'll be committing this change to the branch. Okay, awesome. Yeah. So now that I've committed, the next step is to give a pull request. So as you can see, I'll just recap what we have done so far. So we have forked the repo of Vishal's, and we have created a new branch, and we have committed our changes, right? So now we want Vishal to accept our code. So we need to request Vishal to actually accept our code. So it's like basically a friend request in Facebook. So as you go to the home page of it, you will find this button, compare and pull request. You click on that. So this is an important page. You can see the head repository is my repository, the one which you forked, and the branch is new branch. You're basically sending the pull request from this repository, new branch, to the master branch of Vishal's repository. So that is what we are doing. So you can, this is the pull request message. You can comment if you want, like, please accept my pull request, Vishal. So this is something you can give. So this is how the open source contributions usually work. So you see a repo, if you want to contribute something, you fork it, you do the changes, and then you give a pull request so that they review your code and they accept it. Right? Since this is a basic thing, nobody needs to review it. Will always merge every single pull request you guys are going to be giving. So yeah, click the create pull request button, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, congratulations, everyone. Now you've given your first pull request. I hope everybody followed along. Yeah. So this is where you don't need to do anything apart from it. Like usually, this is how it looks. Now, if a reviewer sees your pull request, he'll be going through it, and once he approves, your pull request will be merged. And once your pull request has been merged, you will see your profile card over here. Yeah, right. I'll also add in if you want some reviewers to review your pull request, you can always go here and add some reviewers. As you can see, I have Vishal. So this is how you request somebody from the maintainer to review your pull request. See, so as you can see that this looks good. Thanks for the PR. So I'm hoping that Vishal will merge my pull request soon. Yeah. So that is it. Once that is done, the pull request will be merged and your profile card would be visible over here in this website. Great. Okay, see, as you can, yeah. Yeah, let me get back to the presentation. Yeah. Just give me a second. Lost the URL to the presentation. Okay, got it. Great. Yeah. Okay, awesome. So let us take on from here. So yeah, hope it was really useful that you made your first pull request. So this is not this okay. GitHub is not only for coding actually. Like you can do a lot. There are like a couple other ways to contribute to open source. Like you can do a lot of things like answering questions, bug reports, content, maintenance, documentation. There's like a whole bunch of stuff which you in whole stuff like other ways so that you can contribute to open source. It's not only about coding. So people who are interested in content, even you can organize workshops like we're doing right now. So we can organize workshops or do some videos, have some talks, bring in some people. Even reviewing a pull request, you can always also do that to contribute into open source, right? So it's not only about coding, like all kinds of works are welcome to open source because it's open to all, obviously. So yeah, here Vishal will be explaining you about GitHub education as he is a pro in that. So Vishal, can you join us?
Yes, Harish, thank you so much for taking us through the flow. I hope that our participants find it very interesting to complete the task, and that
Yeah,
we will be getting a lot of PRs, and we will be seeing a lot of new profiles in our website. And
awesome.
for those of you who don't know, Harish did not mention himself that he too had a huge contribution in the website. I know he's just being
Yeah.
humble. He didn't mention it, but thank you, Harish, for all the work you did. It really wouldn't have been possible to do this without you.
Okay, just give
Yep.
me a second. I'll get you to the slide. Yeah. Okay, great.
Yes. So as you folks already know that we are GitHub Campus Experts, and GitHub Campus Expert is a program by GitHub Education, where you are taught to be build good communities that lasts. And there are other tons of other programs that GitHub Education offers, including the GitHub Student Developer Pack, which is a treasure for anybody, any student who is trying to build anything literally. There are tools, there are cloud services, there are API services, there are designing services, there are a hell lot of other services that you can make use to make your project shine. I have found GitHub Education, GitHub Student Developer Pack to be useful in so many cases, be it for creating a very nice presentation for my college courses, or creating any project for making having fun with my friends, creating a hack or something like that. And the GitHub Student Developer Pack is just constantly expanding. I really cannot tell the journey that we have been. I have been a GitHub Campus Expert for 1 year, and I know the pack has evolved so much. So this is amazing that the GitHub team is including so many services in the GitHub Student Developer Pack, so that students are able to make their projects great without any expenditure at all. So yes, find the link in the description of the YouTube channel. You'll be able to redeem your GitHub Student Developer Pack. If you are a student, you are eligible for GitHub Student Developer Pack. The other programs that GitHub Education offers is GitHub Classrooms. If you're a teacher watching this, GitHub Classrooms is something really I recommend you should check out, because it makes the flow of your class so much more better. It makes interaction so much more better. It makes giving tasks, collecting homeworks, giving exercises, and everything that you really need to make a productive and fun classroom. GitHub Classroom has will set it up all for you. The GitHub Campus program is for GitHub schools. Schools from all around the world can enroll for GitHub Campus program, and GitHub would wire your school up with their amazing technology, be it starting from an email to servers or whatever you really need, your school really needs. So if this is a principal or any school authority reaching out or seeing this video, I encourage you to check out the GitHub Campus program. It would really be very, very beneficial for your college. And the GitHub Campus Advisors program is for teachers. If you are teaching, be it any subject, but in tech, you should enroll yourself as a GitHub Campus Advisor. GitHub Campus Advisors gives you a lot of resources to teach better, gives you recognition, gives you more exposure to reach many more students and do what you love most, that is teaching. And I hope that you find the GitHub Student Developer Pack and all the other programs very useful. If you are applying for GitHub Campus Experts, good luck.
You'll get a full
It's
salary in
amazing.
the mind.
Yeah, that's right. You'll Harish, can you like full show them the full on? This
Yeah,
is
sure, sure. So this is the flag which we get as a GitHub Campus Expert. Hope you can see it. Take a quick look.
yeah, it's the replica of the flag that you see in the logo itself, and
Mm-hmm.
this is really a cool program and a very inclusive and amazing program to be a part of. And the journey so far of I can vouch that Harish and both me, we have been really rewardful for the GitHub Campus Experts program.
Yeah,
We get to do
definitely.
so many things. So if you are applying for it and you're trying to make communities better, good luck. You're doing a great job. What do we have next?
Okay. And next is the events on GitHub.
Yes, as you already know, you're participating in Hacktoberfest, and Hacktoberfest is this time powered by Intel, DigitalOcean, and Dev. And there are a lot of other open source events that GitHub hosts, such as Game Off and 204, that you can participate to get your open source journey started, or maybe make your skills better in Git and GitHub, make quality contributions for open source, or just having fun around playing with open source and contributing back to it. So we encourage you to check out all the events, have fun, and we too will be having a lot of events, mini events, games, and sessions at Autumn Hacks. So if you are looking forward to have a fun autumn this year, please join us. You'll find the registration link for Autumn Hacks in the link in the description of YouTube link, and we hope to see you soon. And if you have any questions now,
Yep, time for some
I
questions.
yes, anything really, if you were stuck, because I can understand the it can be a bit overwhelming to get started with.
Yep.
All of us has been there, and you will not be able to imagine that you are not alone. You're not definitely alone. There are a lot of people who would help you out, starting from open source maintainers to your fellow contributors to maybe community contributors like us to help you out at any point of time. So don't feel very intimidated to get started with. This is something really amazing. Okay, Ritik, Ritik says, can you send the link to the repo? Yes, Ritik, I'll send it.
Okay, you're sending? Awesome. Yeah, guys, it's like you could ask anything, like anything about open source, GitHub, or if you had some troubles following along with the workflow or something, you could always ask that.
Yes, apart from even contributing code on GitHub, there are amazing programs and features that you can take advantage of. And one of the coolest so far is the code spaces. Code spaces on
Yeah,
GitHub is a program. Harish, you want to tell about that?
yeah, sure, sure. Why not? Why not tell them? Okay, so, okay. Yeah, so basically, GitHub Code Spaces is it's a desktop which you get for free, to be precise. Yeah. So as you can see, I have actually they are right now in early beta program, like closed beta. So you need to apply, and then you will be getting the beta access. Okay. So the how you do it is, so usually whenever you want to work on some repository that you see on GitHub right away, so you need to clone it, and people with bad internet connection, it takes time for them to clone it, and also the npm install takes almost forever with our laptops. So to eliminate all of that, GitHub, actually it was first came first with the Microsoft Code Spaces, then it became GitHub Code Spaces because they're kind of together now. So what you one can easily find once you're up. Okay, first thing is to register yourself for the GitHub Code Spaces beta program. So the link for that is this. I'll be put. I think it should I put it out in the comments, Vishal?
I'll do
I
that.
think that
I'll do that.
you do that. Awesome, great. So yeah, this is the page basically. First, you need to request your early access. Once it has been processed, you will get the early access. Like it takes some couple of weeks for it took at least for me to get it. So once you have that, it's gonna be real awesome. So what you do is, as you can see over here, you can develop from anywhere. So wait, let me show one of my repos. Yeah. So you go to a project, you click on this code button. Since I'm already in the beta program, I can see this open with code spaces button. So once you click that, you can create a code space. Like basically, it creates a virtual container on GitHub server just for you. Like you can do almost anything with it. So let me do that. Actually, I the limit for the beta program is only two. As you can see, I already have a couple of code spaces. So I'll be opening one of it. So this is how this. It's basically your VS Code online. You don't need to install VS Code. You don't need to even have a good C processor or something. Everything runs on GitHub's machines. You just gotta play along. Uh, okay, it takes some time to start the code spaces. Basically, it's a separate virtual machine which is being delivered to you by GitHub for free. Yeah.
GitHub is very
Um,
generous.
Yeah, right. They are a super awesome company. They do everything. So as you can see, my VS Code is up now. So once I go full screen, it's basically VS Code. So I wouldn't even know the difference, right? So that is how it is. I would highly suggest everyone to try this. So even if you have super awesome PCs, feel free to try it. It's really super awesome. They have this awesome internet connection also. So if you're stuck at home with mobile data, you could always take advantage of it. Like after getting into code spaces, I hardly go back to my old VS Code. I always use this for now so that everything happens so quick. Yeah, definitely, I would suggest you guys to use it. Over to you, Vishal.
Yes, this has really been useful for folks who really wanted to work on projects and couldn't due to maybe a low-end PC or a desktop which really didn't support the project. So a lot of my friends who wanted to really contribute to big projects but couldn't, this has been really helpful. So if any of you out there is trying to contribute and cannot find a good PC to start with, you don't have to. You can just simply use code spaces.
Yes, right. Hmm. So we're still open to take some more questions. So feel free to drop in the comments.
Yep. So we have a question from Nimit Savant. He asks, "How did you guys start open source contribution?" So Harish, please go ahead
Um,
first.
yeah, okay. It's. I think it was around my second year. Like I just went into GitHub and started exploring things. That was also the time when I came to know about this GSOC. So GSOC is a pretty big thing where people, you know, contribute for real organizations. Although it would be good if you drop the link to the GSOC program as well, so that people get it.
Sure.
Yeah, so yeah, basically, once I started pushing codes to GitHub, randomly exploring through all the repositories, the super awesome people who have super awesome repositories already available. You just need gotta do the search and find them, right? And also, like the most significant change I made was last year Hacktoberfest actually. So I just got to know about this Hacktoberfest challenge. They are giving away t-shirts for 4 free PRs. Okay, I wanted to, even everybody wants the t-shirt, but I tried my best not to make some dummy PRs to get the t-shirt actually. So that is when I actually started open source like properly. I contributed. I remember, yeah, I guess I contributed to an NPM package, which I'm really proud of. So that's how it was for me. How was it for you, Vishal? Like, how did you get into it?
I I don't really remember, but I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was just because I wanted to know what GitHub is about, because there was a lot of hype around it, and I think this is around 2 or 3 years back when I really got into college in the beginning and was looking around what people were doing, and people were really talking about GitHub and open source, and I was very new to everything, very new to all of it. I didn't know anything at all about it. So I think I really started hopping around from one link to another on GitHub, and Hacktoberfest was generally the first event I made first contributions to any project on GitHub. And I think this Hacktoberfest has really been the first time for many people. I'm sure about that. But yeah, before that, it was very intimidating to even share your code, or maybe share anything, fix a bug or something. It can be really intimidating to start in the beginning, but I really found amazing mentors. I mean, totally mind blown that people were this supportive. And since I think the Hacktoberfest of 2018, I think after that there was no looking back. I was totally into the open source community. I loved how inclusive they were and how they provided support. The amazing thing about is anybody from any part of the world is ready to help you anytime you need. That just completely makes open source so much more beautiful, isn't it? Then I started contributing to actual organizations such as Gatsby and a couple of other organizations. Even I don't
I
remember,
think
but yeah,
Vishal is
Mozilla
one
was.
of the Gatsby maintainers. Like, he's being humble this time.
Please, please. Yeah, yes. So yes, if you want to be a Gatsby maintainer, you can contribute to the project by solving an issue that they have always open. So Gatsby is an amazing project to start with. The company is very supportive towards their maintainers and people who contribute to the project. So yes, go to github.com/gatsbyjs. I think that would be a good start. Yeah, the folks at Gatsby are really very supportive. Harish. They would even
Hmm.
set up pair programming sessions with you. So let's say if you didn't wanted to contribute to Gatsby, but to some other open source project, or wanted to even talk about your college project, you could set up a pair programming sessions, and one of the engineers or staff from Gatsby would jump up on a call with you and help you out. Isn't that so
That
amazing?
is like super awesome.
That is
Yeah,
really.
I Vishal, like it's really almost anybody, like anybody around the world is like could help you. Like you get always, like people are really supportive in the open source community. Even if you don't have any much idea about the issue which you're trying to solve, if you type in the comments, they'll feel free. Like they'll always reach out to you and explain you everything so that you help them contribute. Like I don't know, like they're like selfless people around you. It's just very beautiful how the open source community works. Yeah.
Okay, I think
Any?
we have another question from an aspiring GitHub Campus expert. Ritik
Okay.
Sahu asks, when is the Campus Expert program starting again? I mean, the application project process. Yes. So currently the application process is not open, but you can subscribe to when the team starts accepting new applications. The thing is that the team is really working on making the program even better for you. And they, if you sign up via the link right now, you will be notified as soon as the team is accepting new applications. So as of now, we cannot reveal any sort of date or time period when you would be able to get access to that. But yeah, definitely subscribe to the notifications, and you would be notified when the applications go live. Thanks for asking that, Ritik. I think a lot of people have this question.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah.
Do we have any more questions from the audience?
Yeah.
I can see a comment from Nimit, and he says, I remember when I used to share code on WhatsApp. It was just once, but oh my goodness.
Yeah,
That
this
is something that is, I cannot imagine sharing code on WhatsApp. I
exactly.
really can't.
Okay. Hope you're using Git and GitHub right now, Nimit.
Yeah, really. And if if you don't have the GitHub CLI or the terminal, a lot of people find it very intimidating to use the command line. You can use tools like Git Kraken or GitHub Desktop, which really makes so much more easier to contribute, and the GitHub flow just simplifies so much more. Harish, I think, if do you have GitHub Desktop on your system?
No, actually, I'm more of a command line guy, so I don't really use the desktop. But yeah, as mentioned by Vishal, it would be really easy to get started with GitHub Desktop.
Yes, I'll actually fire up the link, and the GitHub Desktop project has been out there for.
Everything is achievable.
Okay, and we'd also like to inform everyone that GitHub is sponsoring Autumn Hacks, and they are such nice people to help us out to support the hackers who are trying to make projects, maybe to make a change in the world, or just to just have uh, build something out of curiosity. And you can use GitHub. You can use the GitHub Student Developer Pack, GitHub, or Git to build your projects at Autumn Hacks, and we would be very thrilled to share them to the entire world. Probably the entire world, since we are on the internet and everybody's hacking from home. So yes, definitely join in for Autumn Hacks. We start on 30th of October till 1st of November, but we will be having workshop sessions and everything throughout the month. So sign up as soon as possible. And Harish is trying to show us the screen for GitHub Desktop.
Yeah, this is basically the web page of GitHub Desktop. People find it intimidating to get started with the CMD. You can always go and download. They have support for Mac and Windows and Linux, like all platforms. So it is something which I would highly suggest the beginners who are really worried about the commands, like they are not really well acquainted with using the command line. You can always go ahead and try this. It's really awesome. Yeah.
GitHub Desktop was the first application which I really used to maintain GitHub. I mean,
Uh-huh.
maintain Gits until I switched to Linux, and now I'm a CLI person. I love the CLI. GitHub now even has the CLI. And GitHub, have you used GitHub CLI, Harish?
Yeah, I've actually installed it. It's really cool. Yeah. You
It's
want
a
me to
it's
open
a
up?
fairly new project. It has been recently released from beta, and now it's
Yeah.
available for everyone. It really makes me working on PRs and issues so much more simpler just from the command line itself. So for people like us who are total CMD and CLI folks, we can always use the GitHub CLI to work on GitHub without having to go on a different platform.
Yeah. Like even I'm just trying out GitHub CLI. I'm not really a pro as Vishal. He seems to be a pro. So, but yeah, this is really cool. You don't even need to go to GitHub. There, you can see the issues, PR, checkout, and almost everything you can do on GitHub. You would be able to do on GitHub CLI, I suppose. Yeah, goodbye context switching. Hello terminal.
Exactly. This makes workflow so much easier that you don't have to switch every time you are trying to fix something. But yes, definitely, if anybody is just curious, go have a look at various GitHub products or tools that can support and help you make use of Git. I think we don't have any more questions.
Any more
Okay, we
questions?
have an appreciation from Ritik Sahu. Ritik Sahu
Wow.
says,
Sure.
"You guys are good teachers. Would love to connect with you guys. Thank you." Well, Ritik, thank you so much for joining in. We are really glad that we could put out some knowledge that will be helpful for you guys and everybody who's trying to get started. Looking forward to accepting peers from you. Feel free to contribute to gitinit.js.org throughout the month. I think the festival closes at 12 a.m. IST on October 31st.
But that
That's
first,
still
yeah.
open. Yes.
I will try
So
to
feel free
merge your
to.
PRs as soon as possible. Yeah, we'll be getting the mail notification as soon as you give the PR. Yeah.
Yup. Don't think that you would be left hanging around. Even if you make mistakes, that's completely fine. We would help you out with reviews and help you make sure that you are making the right pull request. And with that being said, if anybody has more questions, please feel free to register for Autumn Hacks and join the Discord server. And we would love to chat more, connect more, see what you folks are building.
Yeah.
And with that being said, should we take a leave for today? Until next workshop,
Until next, yep. There is always a next. We won't let you guys have
is
any.
always a next. We are actually trying to make sure that you folks have a good experience participating in Autumn Hacks in and using open source for your projects. So again, you should definitely register for Autumn Hacks.
Yeah, we'll try our best to give you the best experience as we can. Autumn hacks basically focus more on the beginner side of things, like people who are really intimidated about getting like, what will I do? Or can I even participate? Like, would I be even able to make a valid submission or something? You don't need to worry about that. Just join and get on, know each other, know everyone, and you can. I'm pretty sure you'll have a good experience at the end. That you wouldn't be intimidated about hackathons if this is your first hackathon you're trying.
That's what we are really trying to solve.
Yeah.
That
That,
you feel included, you feel like you belong here and have fun participating in the hackathon. Even if you are not a pro hacker, please don't stop
yeah.
yourself from participating. We have
To be
mini
honest, we
events.
are not pro hackers ourselves.
Absolutely not. Don't. A lot of people have this conception that if we are organizing hackathons, then we are
Hmm.
something else
Yeah, it could
completely.
be.
But that's not true, really.
Yeah.
We are just like you, trying to figure out things, and we are just curious. That's really all about it. So with that, we'll let you off to the rest of the day, wherever you are watching this from.
Hmm. Yep. I hope you had a good session today. I hope we also got something useful out of it. Hoping to see you at Autumn Hacks then.
Peace. Bye.
Bye everyone. Bye bye.